All right, this just in, the Justice Department can resume its probe of classified documents from Mar-a-Lago. A federal appeals court lifted a judge's hold, allowing the DOJ to continue going through the documents taken in part of the Fed's criminal investigation into the former president. The former president's team had asked a judge to stop the DOJ from pouring through those documents after the department told the court that Trump's lawyers had failed to prove that he declassified government records taken from his home in Florida. This comes, of course, today as New York's Attorney General filed a massive lawsuit today against former President Donald Trump and his 3 adult children, Don Jr., Eric, and Ivanka. The lawsuit accuses Trump of wide-ranging fraud and deception on a level she called astounding.
Intentionally misrepresenting his financials to obtain incredible economic benefit. It was a scheme that, by its very nature, became more profitable over time. And it is all in stark violation of the law.
James is suing Trump for $250 million and wants to bar Trump and his children from running businesses in New York or engaging in real estate deals in New York for 5 years. The Attorney General gave several specific examples where Trump dramatically inflated the value of his properties in order to get banks to lend money at better rates. For example, Mar-a-Lago was independently valued at about $75 million. Trump claimed it was worth 10 times as much. And Trump Park Avenue is appraised at $72.5 million. But Trump inflated it to nearly $300 million. The former president responded to today's lawsuit on his social media, saying in part, it's another witch hunt by a racist attorney general, a fraud who campaigned on a Get Trump platform, despite the fact that the city is one of the crime and murder disasters of the world under her watch, end quote. So what does all this mean to Trump legally and financially? I'm joined now by Ankush Khardori, a former federal prosecutor and legal analyst, and Andrew Lieb, a constitutional attorney. And Ankush, I'd like to start with you. What do you make of the lawsuit? It's huge. It accuses Trump of lying more than 200 times to inflate his net worth by billions of dollars.
Yeah, it's quite a document. It's long, it's voluminous, it's very, very detailed. And, you know, it does paint a pretty a damning picture of the conduct of the Trump organization and the people who work there. I will say it is somewhat, not somewhat, it is very light on details about Trump's personal involvement in the conduct at issue. But this is a civil case. It's a much lower burden of proof. And kind of the way that the complaint was constructed is very, very consistent with these types of cases.
Andrew, valuation of real estate is inherently subjective, but the Attorney General does outline exaggerations by more than 500% in some cases. You know, how does that fly exactly?
What a good question, Elizabeth. I have to tell you, I've been highlighting this complaint all day. It's 222 pages, and they have 170 pages in here with 23 examples in detail of what the problem is. Let me give you just one example, and this could hit home for everyone. Trump valued his own house at being 30,000 square feet, a 30,000 square foot palatial mansion. Turns out it's 11,000 square feet. And price per square foot changes the numbers is what's alleged in these documents. They say things like he had a land lease and he was land leasing the property, but it should have reset based on market conditions into the future. In all, though, what it comes down to is this document that we all know is a balance sheet. They called it a statement of financial condition in there that said, hey, this is what I'm worth. And he inflated it drastically as opposed to appraisals that he obtained that said different numbers.
Ankush, banks do due diligence. I mean, they're supposed to do their own work. Is there any evidence that these massive inflations that Trump made in these records actually resulted in lower interest rates on loans? And actually, does it even matter in terms of this lawsuit?
So that's a very good question. It is unclear. So the Attorney General suggested that it had an actual effect on the institutions that received them. I think it's much harder to suss that out from the details of the complaint. It doesn't matter, though, under the law that she has invoked and under many other sort of types of fraud laws that government entities can use. She doesn't need to demonstrate an actual loss or a reliance on the part of the counterparties.
I was struck, Andrew, by the extent of this lawsuit, how many years back it goes. If it's true, how did Trump get away with doing this for so long?
So you're going back 11 years of these financial statements that we're talking about. And it's a very good question. How did he get away with doing it if it's true? But the answer is that when people see power and money, they want to do business with power and money. And it was in everyone's financial benefit in a way to go forward. As Ankush just referenced, in a fraud case by a bank, if they were going to sue Trump, they would have to show I relied on it. That's called reasonable reliance. But the way the Attorney General is pursuing under what's called Executive Law 63, all she has to say is you did this repeated fraud, you did illegality, and you were in this conspiracy. You were doing this against everyone. So while it's a good question, how did he get away with it? It doesn't change the fact of his exposure under the Attorney General's lawsuit.
Ankush, Trump invoked the Fifth Amendment right not to incriminate himself 500 times, according to the Attorney General, during his deposition on this case. She can use that against him in a civil case.
Yeah, indeed she can. So it's axiomatic that invoking the Fifth Amendment cannot be used against you in a criminal case. That rule does not apply in a civil proceeding. In fact, a jury can, and I'm sure will, be told that they're allowed to adopt an adverse inference based on Trump's refusal to answer those questions and basically assume that the answers would have incriminated him.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.